The Taylor E-2 Cub of 1930 was C.G. Taylor's first design, a wood and fabric two-seater that Walter Gemuno later redesigned into the J-2, laying the foundation for everything Piper would build. The Taylor J-2 Cub of 1936 was the first aircraft sold under the Piper name after Walter Gemuno's redesign. Simple, affordable, and accessible, it pointed directly toward the J-3 that would follow. The Piper J-3 Cub of 1938 became one of the most important aircraft in aviation history. Simple, forgiving, and cheap to operate, it trained more American pilots than any other aircraft during World War II under the Civilian Pilot Training Program. Over 19,000 were built. The Piper J-4 Cub Coupe of 1938 placed its two seats side by side rather than in tandem, offering a more social flying experience than the J-3. Around 1,200 were built before the war ended civilian production. The Piper J-5 Cub Cruiser of 1940 stretched the Cub formula to 3 seats with a wider cabin and more power. It served utility and liaison roles during the war and pointed toward Piper's post-war touring designs. The Piper L-4 Grasshopper of 1942 was the military J-3, serving as the primary liaison and observation aircraft for the U.S. Army throughout World War II. Over 5,500 were built, and it flew on every front of the war. The Piper PA-12 Supercruiser of 1946 was a 3-seat tourer fitted with a 100-horsepower Lycoming engine and a wider cabin than the Cub line. Around 3,760 were built before production ended in 1948. The Piper PA-11 Cub Special of 1947 was a direct J-3 evolution with an updated cowling and improved fuel capacity. It kept the Cub's essential simplicity intact while addressing operator complaints about range and climb performance. The Piper PA-14 Family Cruiser of 1948 stretched the Supercruiser to 4 seats with a rear bench. Production was limited to around 238 units before more capable designs took over. The Piper PA-15 Vagabond of 1948 was a stripped 2-seater selling for under $2,000 new. Basic, honest, and exactly affordable enough to keep post-war pilots flying. The Piper PA-16 Clipper of 1949 was a 4-seat development of the Vagabond with a wider cabin and more power. Around 726 were built before the Tri-Pacer superseded it. The Piper PA-18 Super Cub of 1949 became the definitive backcountry aircraft of the 20th century. Uprated to 150 horsepower, it combined short-field performance with load-carrying ability no competitor matched at its price point. Over 9,000 were built. It remains the global benchmark for utility tailwheel operations. The Piper PA-20 Pacer of 1950 was a 4-seat tourer with side-by-side front seating and practical cross-country range. Over 1,100 were sold before the tricycle gear Tri-Pacer replaced it. The Piper PA-22 Tri-Pacer of 1951 put tricycle gear on the Pacer airframe, targeting pilots reluctant to manage a conventional tailwheel. Over 7,600 were built. Critics called it the flying milk stool. Buyers didn't care. The Piper PA-23 Apache of 1952 was Piper's first twin, powered by 2 150-horsepower Lycoming engines. It opened the light twin market to operators priced out of larger multi-engine aircraft. Around 2,100 were built. The Piper PA-24 Comanche of 1956 was Piper's first all-metal low-wing single with retractable undercarriage. Capable of around 370 kilometers per hour, it competed directly with the Beechcraft Bonanza on price and performance. Over 4,700 were built before the 1972 Vero Beach flood ended production. The Piper PA-25 Pawnee of 1957 was a purpose-built agricultural aircraft, replacing the converted trainers most operators had been using. Robust and purpose-designed, it became the global standard for aerial application work. Over 5,000 were built. The Piper PA-23 Aztec of 1959 was a complete redesign of the Apache. More powerful, faster, and better equipped, it became the standard light twin for charter operations and instrument training through the 1960s and 1970s. Over 4,900 were built across all variants. The Piper PA-28 Cherokee of 1960 became one of the most important training aircraft ever built. Low wing, fixed gear, docile handling, and cheaper than the competition, it defined a generation of flight training. Over 32,000 PA-28 family aircraft have been built. It remains in production today. The Piper PA-30 twin Comanche of 1962 was a twin-engine development of the Comanche and the most fuel-efficient light twin on the market at the time. Cruise speed reached around 330 kilometers per hour. Around 2,100 were built before the 1972 Vero Beach flood ended production. The Piper PA-31 Navajo of 1964 was an 8-seat twin aimed at the charter and air taxi market. It became the backbone of regional operations across North America and Australia through the 1970s and 1980s. Over 3,900 Navajo family aircraft were built. The Piper PA-32 Cherokee 6 of 1965 stretched the Cherokee platform to 6 seats with up to 300 horsepower. Affordable and practical, it became the preferred aircraft for island hopping, air taxi, and family travel. Over 7,800 PA-32 family aircraft were built. The Piper PA-28R Aero of 1967 added retractable gear to the Cherokee with an automatic system designed to prevent gear-up landings. It became the standard complex aircraft for commercial pilot training for decades. The Piper PA-31P pressurized Navajo of 1968 brought cabin pressurization to the Navajo airframe, allowing operations above weather at altitudes previously reserved for turbine aircraft. The Piper PA-31T Cheyenne of 1969 replaced the Navajo's piston engines with 2 Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6A turboprops. Cruise speed reached around 540 kilometers per hour. It brought turbine reliability to operators who needed more than pistons could deliver. The Piper PA-34 Seneca of 1971 was a twin-engine Cherokee 6 with counter-rotating Continental engines, eliminating critical engine handling issues. It became the dominant multi-engine trainer of the 1970s and 1980s. Over 4,900 have been built across 5 variants. The Seneca 5 remains in production today. The Piper PA-36 Brave of 1972 succeeded the Pawnee, with more power and a larger hopper for high-volume commercial spray operations. It targeted professional agricultural operators running large-scale programs. The Piper PA-28-151 Warrior of 1973 was a longer-wing Cherokee development with improved handling and fuel efficiency. It became one of the most widely used training aircraft in the world and remains in production today. The Piper PA-32R Lance of 1976 added retractable gear to the Cherokee 6 airframe, giving 6-seat load-carrying ability with improved cruise performance. The Piper PA-31-350 Chieftain of 1976 stretched the Navajo to 10 seats for commuter and charter operations. It served regional airlines and air taxi operators across every continent through the late 1970s and 1980s. The Piper PA-38 Tomahawk of 1977 was a purpose-designed 2-seat trainer built to compete directly with the Cessna 152. Over 2,500 were built. Flight schools valued the low operating costs. Instructors debated its stall characteristics. The Piper PA-44 Seminole of 1978 was a light twin trainer with counter-rotating Lycoming engines designed specifically for multi-engine rating training. It remains in production today and is the most widely used multi-engine trainer in the world. The Piper PA-28-181 Archer of 1976 was a higher-powered Cherokee derivative with a 180 horsepower Lycoming engine and improved useful load. It became one of the most recognized training and touring aircraft in general aviation and remains in production today. The Piper PA-32 RT Turbo Lance II of 1977 combined the Lance airframe with a turbocharged engine and a T-tail configuration, offering high-altitude cruise performance in a 6-seat fixed-wing package. The Piper PA-32 R301 Saratoga of 1979 was an aerodynamically refined development of the Lance with updated systems and improved performance. It became Piper's flagship six-seat piston aircraft through the 1980s and 1990s. The Piper PA-42 Cheyenne III of 1979 was a stretched Cheyenne with more powerful PT-6A engines and increased range. It targeted the upper end of the turboprop twin market and competed directly with the Beechcraft King Air. The Piper PA-28-236 Dakota of 1979 was a high-performance, fixed-gear Cherokee derivative with a 235-horsepower Lycoming engine, offering near-retractable performance without retractable complexity. The Piper PA-42-1000 Cheyenne 400 of 1983 was the most powerful Cheyenne variant, fitted with Garrett TPE-331 engines, producing over 1,000 shaft horsepower per side. It was the fastest pressurized piston or turboprop twin Piper ever built. The Piper PA-46 Malibu of 1982 was the most ambitious single-engine piston aircraft Piper had ever attempted. Pressurized, capable of cruising above 25,000 feet, and fitted with a 310-horsepower Continental engine, it redefined what a single could deliver. Range exceeded 2,000 kilometers. The Piper PA-46 Malibu Mirage of 1988 replaced the Malibu's Continental engine with a 350-horsepower Lycoming, addressing reliability concerns that had troubled early operators and significantly improving the aircraft's reputation. It remains in production today. The Piper PA-46 Malibu Meridian of 1998 fitted the Malibu airframe with a Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6A turboprop. Cruise speed reached around 500 kilometers per hour at altitude. It brought single-engine turbine performance to owner pilots who wanted PT-6 reliability without twin complexity. The Piper PA-46R Matrix of 2007 was an unpressurized Malibu Mirage derivative, targeting buyers who wanted the airframe's performance and cabin without the cost of pressurization systems. The Piper M350 of 2015 succeeded the Malibu Mirage with a Garmin G1000NXI avionics suite and modernized cabin. It remains Piper's current flagship piston single. The Piper M500 of 2015 succeeded the Meridian with the same PT-6A-42A turboprop paired with a fully updated Garmin flight deck. It remains one of the most capable single-engine turboprops available to owner-operators worldwide. The Piper M600 of 2016 is Piper's most capable production aircraft. Powered by a PT-6A-52 producing 600 shaft horsepower, it cruises at around 520 kilometers per hour with a range exceeding 2,800 kilometers. From 2020, it became the first single-engine aircraft certified with an autonomous emergency landing system. Some lesser-known Piper models have been left out of this video. If you want to see those, let us know in the comments and we will cover them in a dedicated video. Thanks for watching.